maybe there is something to this whole culture. Maybe it's like actually is contributing to happier, healthier, successful marriages? Or do you think it's just like, no, it's just like a different route to the same inevitable end of like you have a 50-50 chance?
Okay. All right. So you're what's your what Alexis is asking everybody, what's their thoughts about marriage? Even though, as a nation that it's marriage sucks right now in America.
Yeah.
It's over 50% divorce rate. But at the end of the day, everybody's still trying to get married. So what's your thoughts about marriage in general? Even though in America, statistically, it's we're failing at it as a country. Um, yeah, I'll start with you, Jessica. What's your thoughts about
Um,
marriage?
I would love to be married. That's definitely my goal. Um, but I do think I I think last time I heard it, like the Mormon divorce rate is fairly similar to the national divorce rate. And I think like it's very interesting because like in my dating age right now, the last 4 or 5 guys I've gone out with have all been divorced, and they're all divorced LDS guys. Um, and I think it's just kind of interesting of like they got married early. It's also interesting they were all married for about 4 years, which I think is kind of interesting as well. Um, but it also like it kind of just boiled down to like what they wanted out of life and um kind of like either becoming more active into the church or becoming less active in the church. And I think this kind of goes back into my topic that I was going to bring up of just like being prepared for sex and marriage, where a lot of the guys that I had been out with like felt like they were kind of gypped in their marriage of like, oh yeah, the church teaches you like everything's going to be fine with sex afterwards, but then as women, like our sex drives have been like just like pounded into the ground, and then it's supposed to automatically change with marriage, and it doesn't, and that expectation's kind of gone. So I don't know. I think it's really interesting. Like I think marriage is a wonderful idea, and um, I think it's difficult when you rush into it um, with expectations that it's going to make everything okay, um, and it doesn't. So
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thank you, Jessica. What's your thoughts, Amelia?
Um, I think I think that I think that the reasons that there might be a lower divorce rate in the church is because while marriage is like the biggest goal in the church, it's also one of the most serious things in that it's tied with so many other things. Like, because getting married in the temple is how you are exalted, like for the next life. And you can't be exalted unless you're married in the temple. So now you're taking like a relationship between two people, and not only is like the relationship with each other at stake, but like your temple worthiness, your exaltation is also at stake. So I think that's something that might tie into it, maybe convinces people to stay in marriages more or like put more work into it, try to make things work. I also think because sex is also prohibited outside of marriage, that's what maybe convinces people to stay because if they were to get divorced, they wouldn't be allowed to have sex unless they're married again or things like that. Um, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but I think just because the stakes are a little bit higher when it comes to marriage, and it's a little bit more serious when you have to get divorced, especially if you want to, like for example, break your ceiling to someone. It's just more to have to do, and so people work a little bit harder.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Emily, for sharing that. And yeah, Kira, what's your thoughts about marriage?
Yeah, I think I agree a lot with Amelia said. Um it's a bigger deal in our religion. I guess like there's so it's put on such a pedestal, kind of like that. And I know how a lot of people say in the real world, they're like, oh, marriage, it's like it's death to us part. But how we do it, it's like your eternal companion, like after death. And so I mean, like I I know more people that are divorced that aren't LDS than I do. So like from my personal experience, I do think that there is a lower percentage, and I think I don't know. Like, I personally would never want to get divorced, and I don't know, maybe as people grow up, you said they put in more effort. Not saying that people outside don't, but since it is a bigger deal, it's like, well, I don't want to get into like I chose you for like all time and eternity. Like, let's pound this thing and figure it out. But